The number of Afghan asylum seekers has gone up 4 times in 2015 compared to the previous year. Violence is on the rise in the country, so should we expect a surge of Afghans trying to get to Europe in the coming months or years?
What we do know is that there are several factors that will continue to push Afghans out of several regions because of resumed fighting. Several provinces or districts have been retaken by the Taliban recently, and there has been an upswing in assassinations and bombings with heavy loss of life. So instability is on the increase, while the international community insists there is no longer a war situation in Afghanistan. There are also other places where there's heavy pressure on the Afghans. I think notably about certain tribal zones in Pakistan, where hundreds of thousands of Afghan refugees are trying to survive in a highly unstable area. There are also hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million Afghan refugees in Iran, and we know many of them are recent arrivals fleeing the surge in violence. We also know these families, also arriving in Turkey and Greece, are coming because they, especially their men, have been put under pressure from the Iranians to go and fight for them in Syria against ISIL. So this means the Afghans are coming under strain from a number of directions, and we should expect them to want to leave places where they're stigmatized and in danger.
It's hard to offer any hard numbers, but we know this is going to be a question, a problem for Europe that is going to continue, and is only going to get bigger, much bigger, especially if the instability in the affected country continues.
Afghans are absolutely not a priority when it comes to Europe granting asylum. Is Europe going to change this policy because fighting has returned to the country?
Today, what needs to be discussed and questioned is the idea of returning people to Afghanistan voluntarily in the right conditions. This is what Europe wants and is promoting. But this idea of voluntary return is a nonsense, because today there are many Afghans living in terrible conditions in camps or refugee hotspots in Greece notably, who've been there for months with their children who have no future. In these conditions, they see no other choice than to go home because they have no future where they are. Europe must increase its capacity to protect these Afghans.
Mr. Ambrosi, about these voluntary repatriations. The organization, the IOM, is handling the returns, and we met a family in our report in Greece who chose this option. So how would you like to respond to Mr. Corty? Are these repatriations really voluntary?
I agree that Europe has a responsibility to expand its protection of Afghans, and for other nationalities that, for the moment, are not considered a priority. It is clear that there is a differential treatment, that Syrian asylum seekers get a different hearing to Eritreans, Afghans, or other nationalities. The reality is, there are people who are coming to us asking for help to go back home. Voluntary returns have to be done carefully. We don't just send people anywhere in Afghanistan. We take into account security threats or any other risk very seriously. But nonetheless, there are many situations where the Afghan refugee will decide to abandon the process of migrating to Europe.
Poursuivre les projets de migration qu'ils ont entamés.